Let's be honest, the COLA announcement was a big letdown. You're not getting much more money because of inflation still high and cost of living still high. But what would have happened if President Biden were to have his way? If you take a look at this article, here's how much your 2024 Social Security increase would have been if Joe Biden had his way. So according to this article, if President Biden would have followed through on his promise and would have had his way, if he had complete control, it would have been higher, but by how much? I'm going to let you know the details on that as Congress still talking about Social Security.
Renews Republican attacks on Social Security benefits.
I'm going to play the full video clip of what's going on in Congress, what they're talking about, let you know the latest details and updates about Social Security, as well as a few other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate the Social Security updates on a regular basis, hit the like button down below and subscribe for more Social Security updates regarding SSI, SSDI, increases, decreases, proposals. Subscribe for that. And this video is sponsored by my company, YSense. If you or anyone you know is looking to improve your credit score and remove negative items from your credit report, got a link down in the description below. All right, so let's get into it. Let's be blunt. Social Security's 2024 cost of living adjustment is a letdown in more ways than one. So we all know that the 3.2% official number, which goes into effect starting January of 2024, is not as high as we wished. It was 8.7% this year, 2023, and now going back down to 3.2%. Although inflation, they say, is decreasing, cost of goods, cost of food, cost of living is still pretty high and a lot harder for seniors on Social Security to live with dignity. So with the COLA announcement coming out, according to the CPIW, some are still saying that there should be the CPIE, which would have made it a little higher. So at 3.2%, on the surface, things look great with beneficiaries set to receive 3.2% COLA in 2024. Over the past 15 years, there have been 3 instances where no COLA was passed along. Meanwhile, the average COLA over the previous 20 years is 2.6%. A 3.2% COLA may not be flashy, but it's unquestionably an above average increase to monthly Social Security checks. But by how much? So according to this, the average monthly payout for nearly 50 million Americans currently receiving a retired worker benefit check should increase to $59 to $1,907 by January of 2024. So I'm really curious, where do you stand with this? What are your thoughts on the new official COLA? Now, when it comes to Social Security in Congress, we heard that 2023 was supposed to be the year of Social Security reform. We have over a dozen bills in Congress for Social Security, but what is being done about it? Take a look at what this representative has to say about Social Security.
I stand today in strong support of Social Security and the invaluable role that it plays in the lives of more than 2.2 million people in Illinois, and over 150,000 of our neighbors and family members in the 17th Congressional District of Illinois. Social Security benefits make up 1/3 of the income of our nation's seniors, and benefits are the primary source of income for most seniors. Social Security is not a handout. This is a program that working Americans have paid into for years, with the promise that the federal government would stand by them and respect their hard work and their labor. Too often over the past few months, we've heard threats from my colleagues across the aisle about cutting off these hard-earned benefits. First, during the debt ceiling negotiations, and most recently, my colleagues in the Republican Study Committee recently put forth a budget that renews Republican attacks on Social Security benefits. Their unserious proposal shows my colleagues care more about scoring political points and playing games with your future than governing responsibly with your interests in mind. That we're having this conversation and considering these budgets shows how out of touch my colleagues across the aisle are with the struggles that real Americans face every single day. Under their proposal, 9.7 million Illinoisans would see their retirement age increased, cutting the Social Security benefits, and then forcing them to work even longer for less. Let me be clear, Mr. Speaker. Social Security is a sacred promise to our nation's seniors. It is not a political football. I will oppose any proposal that cuts the earned benefits that provide essential financial stability to millions of Americans. Our communities have worked for decades to earn these benefits, and it is unconscionable to turn around and take that away from people, especially as prices still remain high for consumers. I urge my colleagues to defeat the previous question so we can bring up legislation that protects, not undermines, Social Security. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. Massachusetts.
What are your thoughts on that? There have been many talks from the Democrat side about Republicans trying to cut Social Security, yet still no clear evidence, no bills, no proposals that is actually going to cut Social Security. But let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Let's talk about this. Here's how much your 2024 Social Security increase would have been if Joe Biden has had his way. So if President Biden were to have his official way of increasing Social Security through COLA, what would it have been? So beginning in January, COLA benefits are going to be 3.2%, but Joe Biden would like to see the annual cost of living adjustment using a different method. Here's how much your 2024 Social Security increase would have been if Biden had his way. So how Biden would like to change Social Security? In 2020, then candidate Biden campaigned for president on a platform that included several proposed changes to Social Security. The biggest one, in terms of preventing future benefit cuts, was to increase the payroll tax cap to $400,000. He also supported several benefit increases. For example, he wanted to set the guaranteed minimum benefit to at least 125% of the poverty level. So, what is the 2024 COLA? What the 2024 Social Security COLA would have been. So, according to President Biden, we don't have to imagine what next year's COLA might have been if the CPIE was used instead of the CPIW. It's pretty easy to run the numbers ourselves. So, determine what the 3.2%, excuse me, SSA compared the average CPIW for the third quarter of 2023 against the CPIW for the third quarter of 2022. We only need to perform a simple calculation, swapping out the CPIE in place of the CPIW to find out what the COLA would be if President Biden's 2020 proposal was in effect. So remember that 4-point change to Social Security that President Biden would have done. One of them would have been changing the CPIW to CPIE, meaning that the calculation for COLA would have been adjusted for seniors. CPIE stands for elderly. So what would that have been? Based on the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average CPIE for the third quarter of 2022 was 320.934. The average CPIE for the third quarter of 2023 was 333.382, a 4% year-over-year increase. If Biden had his way, retirees would receive a 4% COLA in 2024 instead of the 3.2%. So you may have heard a lot of the talking about how the CPIE is better than the CPIW. It is, going from 3.2% to 4% if the COLA was calculated through the CPIE. Let me know your thoughts on that. Would the 4% change your life compared to the 3%? Let me know your thoughts on the 4% compared to 3.2%. And is the CPIE worth going to compared to the CPIW when calculating COLA? Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should really do. Like if you make a mistake, learn by experience and make mistakes. And I see you in the next video. Hi guys. Monster ice bleeding. Don't say that. Hi guys. I wish them breathe and see I was. I Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you want to see what the increased taxes are for Social Security in a new bill that has been presented to Congress, take a look at this video right here. You'll learn more about that as it could affect your Social Security check. So take a look at that video right there, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.